Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel to see more videos. Hello everybody and welcome back to York River Cannabis. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I make CBD Kief here on the farm. But first, if you wouldn't mind and you are new here to the channel, please consider subscribing and supporting our channel. And for those of you that have already subscribed, thank you very much. I appreciate the support, and if you wouldn't mind, please give the video a big thumbs up to show that support. So folks, today I'm going to be teaching you how I make CBD Kief here on the farm, and it's a really easy process. But the number one question I got when I posted a picture of it on Instagram was, what is Kief and what do you do with it? And first and foremost, Kief is just the trichomes of the plant, where all those cannabinoids like to hang out. The highest concentration on the plant is in those trichomes, and that's what we're extracting today. Now, if you're watching this video and you want to think you can make Kief today, you can, but first I'm going to tell you, you're going to want to freeze those buds for a minimum of 24 hours, then come back and check out the video. But you can do it with buds at room temperature, but you're going to lose out on a lot of the Kief. So let's talk about why I like to freeze the buds, and before we head into the house and get the bag of buds. The reason I freeze the buds is to make the trichomes brittle from the plant material, whether it's a leaf or the bud itself. You don't really get much from the stems in this process. But you know, you want it real brittle, and that's what freezing does. It makes the trichome very brittle. When it's at room temperature, the trichomes tend to be a little bit more fluid, you know, so to speak. They have more malleability, and they're not easily broken off from the plant material. So that's why freezing is an important process to collecting the most amount of Kief. The next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to need a trim board of some sort with a screen. So trim bin, trim tray, whatever. It needs to be a 150 micron screen in order to collect the Kief. That's a big deal. And I will leave links to those things in the description below. So if you don't have them, you can go ahead and grab them. So after that, a lot of people say, well, what do you do with Kief? Well, Kief is a real easy way to get rid of a lot of the plant flavor in cooking edibles and just overall the increased potency of certain things. So Kief is just the trichomes, it's just cannabinoids. So the flavor dramatically decreases because you're not extracting from plant material. In the cooking process, you're extracting just in regular, you know, in a room. You're not actually adding anything to extract those cannabinoids. And it actually eliminates a process in the cooking, because when you do cook with oils and butters and stuff like that, you need to go through the process first. And with our magic butter machine, you know, if you want to make even magic butter, you got to get the flour, get the butter, put it in the container, mix it all around, strain it, and then have it harden. Then you can cook with it. This essentially eliminates the entire process of doing that. You can add Kief to any cooking recipe, anything. It doesn't change a thing. You just add it in and it's ready to go. So one of the things that I will tell you about Kief is you have to be very careful with it. Now, with CBD, not so much. With THC, you have to be very careful with it because it's so potent. You only need 1 to 4 grams for certain recipes. I haven't seen a recipe yet that calls for more than 4 grams. So think about it. And one of the things I got a tip from is when you do extract this Kief, go ahead and weigh the dry flour before freezing it for the recipe that you usually use it for. So for instance, when we make our CBD oil here, we use about 14 grams per cup, and about a total of 28 grams. So what I would do if I was going to make oil with Kief, which I probably will in the near future, is you're going to take that 28 grams, weigh it, put it in the freezer for 24 hours, then break off the trichomes, and then use the Kief in the oil recipe. Now, why is it so important to do this? Well, it's important because you want to make sure that your recipes stay on track for where they are. Now, you can say you're going to lose some Kief, it's not going to be the same amount, but you also lose certain potencies when making the oil with the flour. You don't get everything, and same with the Kief, but the Kief is highly concentrated. So with that being said, guys, look for more Kief related videos after you see this one. We are going to start using it in the kitchen and start cooking with it a lot more to see how this all plays out. But I got to tell you, our partner farm in Vermont has been using it to make certain edibles, and they are absolutely loving it. And a lot of the people up there love it because it gets rid of that plant taste. And if I have one big complaint about CBD oil itself, is that it has that plant flavor that a lot of people just don't really like. So this is a way to get rid of that plant flavor. So let's head into the house. Let's check out our frozen bag of flowers and get ready to start making some Kief. So we're over here in the freezer and we're going to grab our frozen bag of flour. I'll show you that in the sunlight. So now we're going to head over to the kitchen. I'm going to show you what to do with this frozen bag of flour. Okay, so here you go. Here is what you need. I like to use a spoon because I know it's clean. It's been through my dishwasher. Some people use quarters. If you are going to use any type of money, make sure you wash it, sanitize it, throw it in the dishwasher because money is one of the dirtiest things on the planet. So you want to make sure that it's clean because, you know, bacteria does find places to hide everywhere. So this is our frozen bag that we got. Now, the first thing I like to do is I like to mush it all up. So you can do that. You can also get rid of some air in the bag to make it easier. And you just go ahead and you beat it up with your hands as best you can. And as you can see, these buds are already starting to turn into just dust-like materials. I can show you here in the corner of the bag. Look how fine this material already is. Now you're asking, what's the spoon for? The spoon is a trick a lot of people use to break it up even more, to get more Kief, more trichomes breaking off the flour. So people use spoons. I don't recommend a fork or a knife, but people use spoons and money, anything with a rounded edge so it doesn't puncture the bag. So what you do is you take the spoon and you throw it in there and you shake it around. And this also helps to break up all the plant material. And that spoon is essentially, when it hits the flour and it's frozen, is breaking off the trichome. Like I said, people use all kinds of different things. I know that a United States $half is one of the more common tools to do this. But I've seen spoon, and like I said, I've seen quarters, but I don't know, money kind of freaks me out with all the bacteria that lives on it, and I just didn't wash any, but you could just easily wash it. And you're going to do this for quite a while, so let me just fast forward this. You're going to do it for probably about 3 minutes. All right, so we've jostled this bag around for quite a while. Now you can see there are some buds that are still kind of intact. That's okay. You know, you're going to get that. And you can break them up even more once we get the board. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to let this bag sit. And I'm going to go and grab our trim tray that we have. Now this is essential to what you need to make Kief. You need a trim tray or trim bin, and I'll leave that information in the description below. Go ahead and find one on Amazon. But that's what I'm going to go grab that, and then we're going to get this process started. Okay, so here's our trim tray, and you need a makeup brush or a paint brush of some sort. This is going to come in handy in a little bit, but right now it's going to just be put off to the side. So now that you have your broken up trichome bag of flowers and leaves or whatever, it could be trim, it could be bud, whatever you chose to use, you're going to go ahead and open it up and dump it out onto the tray. All right, so we didn't use it all because we got a bigger bag here. So then what you're going to do is you can break up the buds if you like. Some people do that, some people don't. I mean, it really depends on how well you beat it up in the bag and, you know, how much Kief you think you got off of it. This is our cherry wine flower, so it'll be interesting to see how much Kief comes from this. And this is about 2 ounces in the bag. So now what you're going to do is you just lightly do this on the tray. You're going to take the spoon and you're going to lightly drum it. Don't go crazy. Don't smack it. Just lightly do it. You're essentially sifting now the kief from the material. And this process is very important because this is how you're going to collect your kief. So I'm going to do this for a little while, probably about 5 minutes, where you're just stirring it and you're collecting that kief underneath that micron screen. So let's fast forward to 5 minutes from now. Okay, so after working this for about 20 minutes, this has been about 20 minutes of jostling it around, rubbing the buds between my hands and kind of chopping them up a little bit. This is our result for the kief. Now, you can do this all day long. You could go probably an hour and continue extracting kief, but at some point, you know, the time just gets ridiculous for the amount that you're actually getting. So your first couple checks should be pretty good. I like to check every 5 minutes just to see how everything is. But yeah, so now we have quite a nice pile of kief going. For 20 minutes worth of work, this is what we got. Now that is a lot of flour, and that's what I consider biomass cherry wine. That's a lot of the stuff that we harvested very late. You know, and it was the bottom branches, and they're not the best buds, but this is a way to reduce the capacity that you're holding. So if you're having a storage issue, this is an easy way to get it down. And now we have a really nice big pile of kief here. This is looking really good, at least a couple grams, if not more, of kief. And like I said before, guys, this is a way to make stuff a lot less flavorful when it comes to, you know, plant flavor. And I can't stress that enough. The few recipes that I've played with this kief, you really can't taste it. And I think, you know, if I get complaints or like, you know, hey, how do I get rid of the taste of CBD oil that we make here on the farm? It's very difficult before to get rid of that taste. You know, I've added cinnamon, I've tried a lot of tactics, but overall, you really can't mask that plant flavor. And well, kief just essentially gets rid of it altogether. And that's what's making this pretty popular for our farm now that we've kind of got it dialed in for what we're doing here. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I really hope that this helps you make kief if you have hemp. This CBD kief, again, guys, it's very potent. And I know it doesn't look like a lot, but you don't need a lot for your recipes. And if you are going to start using it to cook, my suggestion is taking the flour that you're going to use in that recipe, freezing it, and then harvesting the kief. And then using it in your recipe for the first couple tries. Once you've figured out what you're extracting for kief and what works for that recipe, you don't really need to wait. You can just start weighing the kief and going ahead and cooking and have the kief beforehand. But you still need to decarb it. This is still in the raw form, so it still needs to be decarbed for any recipe that you're going to do, whether it's oil, butter, or even just adding it to a chocolate bar, still needs to be decarbed. But that's what I have for you today, guys. If you are interested in kief or flour, please let me know and go ahead and send me an email at yorkrivercannabis@gmail.com, and I will try to get back to you as soon as possible. Everything that I used today, I will leave in a link in the description below so you can click on it. You are definitely going to need a trim tray, and you are definitely going to need one of these little brushes. And then, of course, you will need some hemp flour. But yeah, that's what I have for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. You can always find me on Instagram and Facebook. Those links will also be in the description below. And I will see you in another video. Take care.